Hey. So, today I was, I got a bit angry and, I wasn't, I was kind of angry parts of today, especially between like, I don't know, maybe 11 a.m. to 11 a.m. or 12 p.m. to like 5 or 5:30 p.m. or whatever, something like that. But, I just kind of wanted to talk about some stuff reflecting on that and basically kind of like just sort of vent about some of that stuff that occurred today that got me in that kind of state of mind or whatever and just made me think about it. Now, I was gonna just while doing this, I was gonna play some of this game that I've been playing, Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup, this roguelike game thing. Um, But since you can do this on the web-based thing, you can watch other people play. Knowing myself, I would be very distracted trying to play and talk at the same time. So instead of doing that, I'll just in the background just have that's why I also changed the viewpoint of my camera just because the left side has more useful information than the right side, but not that that's that important. But yeah, so I'll just pick one of these people that are currently playing and watch them while I'm trying to talk about what I wanted to talk about, I guess. And I was gonna make, and I very likely am going to make kind of standalone video where I'm playing this game and try to kind of explain it somewhat so it's more understandable for somebody who's never played it. Um, but for right now, I just use it as a background thing because fuck it. Um, I guess I'll pick this person. They're in the final area. Well, kind of, not technically the final area. Oh, wow, they already have the orb? Shit. All right, so they're fucking probably gonna win soon. Um, in that case, I should probably pick somebody else. How do I get out of this? Yeah, probably pick somebody else because they're probably about to finish the game soon. So yeah, wow, they got there pretty fucking fast. Yeah, I'll pick somebody else. Who is actively playing? I guess I'll pick this person. Why not? If I can. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. Just have this person in the background, I guess. You don't have to understand anything that's going on. It's not really important, but you know. Um but yeah, so what happened today exactly? I woke up and it was pretty, normal regular day, nothing too particularly special or whatever, but so yeah, I woke up and pretty much immediately went downstairs to start making my food for that day, 2 days since I ate previously, so, you know, 2 days without eating, one day with eating, whatever you want to call it. Um or one day that I eat. Um so I did that. Uh I told my mom like, how's her knee or whatever since it's been, bothering her the past few weeks. Um and I got her this like other stuff. I mean, she's mostly been taking basically, Advil or whatever you want to call it. It's just ibuprofen. For the discomfort or whatever, the arthritis discomfort in her knee. And but I also got her this like stuff on Amazon. Ordered this stuff on Amazon. This like gel, supposedly some maybe potentially more effective, but at the very least a more localized, anti-inflammatory. Um, so I was like, all right, I'll just order that, and I think supposedly it's been working, but I don't know. She's a very bad patient. She's very I don't know. She's not good at describing what is working and what is not, and determining, I don't know, like, so it's hard to it's hard to gauge, but I figure it's just as effective, if not more, in some cases than ibuprofen, since it's like localized and all that stuff, absorbed through the skin and all that shit. Um, but nothing too out of the ordinary. Um, yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary there. But ate, after I ate, it was probably around like 10:30. Yeah, I think it was like 10:30, maybe it was like 11. And my dad was up. He wasn't sleeping currently as he normally would be. Well, to some extent, but he usually gets up around like 10 after sleeping for a couple hours, and then he'll fall asleep usually after that for a little while too before he goes to work at like 4. Usually about 3:30 he leaves. But he was up right now, and I remembered, I was like, all right, so I had to call back the credit card company to dispute those two transactions that my mom fraudulent, or my mom had ordered some bullshit scam product, pills from Facebook, from a Facebook ad, and it was like, what was it, like a total charge of two charges that added up to $350 and like 90 cents or something, or $345.90. Both from the same company or whatever. But before, they were currently pending. So like when I called up on like Sunday or whatever, I basically got like the answering service for this company, like some third party company for that company, I guess, for answering on the weekends or something like that. And they could not they could not dispute the payment without going to the proper department or something like that. But they were currently not there on Sunday, so I was like, all right, not a big deal. I'll just call on Monday during the weekday, and they'll probably be available. So that was today, Monday. So I was like, all right. While my dad's home, told him, can you get on your bank account, or well, not your bank account, but get on your that credit card account, and so I could have the transactions in front of me or whatever, and so he could be there. I'm like, might as well, you know, do this whole thing now while he's awake. So I called it up, got a person, and they started to ask me some stuff. The usual stuff, and I basically said, all right, I wanted to dispute these two transactions because they were done. They weren't necessarily done fraudulently, but they were done under false pretenses or whatever. My mom supposedly was thinking that the transaction was only gonna be like $30 or some bullshit, but then it turned out to be $350 essentially. So I was like, okay, can we dispute these two transactions, essentially, fraudulent or whatever? Um, and as we were doing that, uh, excuse me, we were doing that. Eventually, they said they had to transfer me to the another department, to dispute the charges or whatever, like the fraud department. So I was like, all right, got a different person, but they had all that information that I gave the other person and stuff. So we started talking, like, what to do and stuff. But they were given like this kind of solution that would, I guess, in their mind or whatever, it would be better to get the company that we dealt with, that my mom ordered from, technically, to basically contact them and cancel the payment through them, or cancel the order through them, instead of doing the stuff like just canceling the credit card or whatever. Because if you cancel the credit card, then if you have other recurring payments, then you'd have to go through the effort of um you know calling all those other companies and telling them to, what do you call it, like, basically re-subscribe or change your card info for those companies or whatever, in the same way. But it didn't matter to us, because my on that card, at least, my dad didn't have any recurring payments for any company or subscriptions or any shit like that. So it meant almost nothing to just cancel the card and just get new ones. And as well as the first person was saying, like, oh, uh, technically, if the technically canceling the card doesn't necessarily mean that they can't still charge you, if they wanted to or something. But I was like, I'm just saying, I was like, it seems kind of unlikely that some scam company is going to go through the effort to, like, contact the, like, Visa card directly to, like, do all that bullshit. They're just gonna fucking write it off as nothing and just continue elsewhere to somebody else. Like, they're not really gonna go through the effort to do all that shit. I'm not saying they wouldn't, but I think it's unlikely that they would. But yeah, we're just kind of going, like, back and forth, kind of saying, I was just kind of saying, like, I think it would be best if we just cancel the card, and if you guys could possibly try to dispute the payment, because, like, why am I going to try to contact this scammer, these scammers, essentially? Why am I going to contact this scam company, essentially, and they're just going to tell me, like, whatever? And they told me, it was just kind of going back and forth. But at the end of the day, I was basically saying, can you guys just dispute these two payments, as fraudulent or whatever, and as well as cancel slash disable this card, and then whatever you have to do, send out new ones. Uh, and then hopefully that would be just like I done before with the other time that my mom got scammed by some bullshit, or ordered some scam bullshit, um, on another card. Uh, but during this call, the, like, one thing, the people that were talking were, like, fairly quiet, or, like, they spoke pretty softly. So I had to, like, like, listen carefully to, like, hear what they were saying, because they spoke kind of softly and shit. Um, but then, like, my mom decided to come upstairs while we're doing this and, like, start listening, but also saying stuff, like, adding in stupid, like, pointless quips and stuff, like, as I'm, and I know it did take unnecessarily long to just get to that thing of, just, can we just cancel the card? Can we just cancel the card, and can you dispute these two payments? Like, it took like 40 minutes. The entire, like, the entire call took like 40 minutes or some shit. Um, so yeah, it was taking longer than probably necessary, but at the same time, I'm like, what the fuck does this idiot care? My mom, why does she care that whatever is going on? Because, one, she's the idiot who fucking caused all this in the first place. She's the one who caused all this in the first place. And two, does she think that her stupid ass is helping by fucking interjecting, or like, saying stuff in the background while I'm trying to listen on the fucking phone to somebody else? Like, she's just pointlessly adding noise and doing nothing to help the situation. In fact, she's just making it worse or more difficult by interjecting bullshit while I'm trying to listen to somebody else. And then as she's doing this, my dad is like trying to tell her to, like, be quiet. But then it's coming as that's going on, she won't like shut her mouth, or she won't stop doing that. So my dad starts like yelling. So then I have two fucking boomers yelling in the background at each other about what the fuck is going on, and I'm trying to listen to this person talking and shit. But that whole nonsense fucking annoyed me in the first, like, for one. But then we, after the conversation was over, I have to fucking explain to this idiot like what the hell is going on, or like I had to explain to her what just happened or some shit, or like what is going to happen, I guess. Um, and then I basically am just saying like, hey, you really should just shut your fucking mouth, because at the end of the day, you're the idiot who caused this you're the one who fucking ordered this bullshit. Um, Thinking that it's going to magically fix your knee problems or some dumb shit. So I'm like, you're the one who fucking caused this shit. So you really just need to shut the fuck up. Like, uh, but I don't know. She storms off in a little fucking in a little huff, in a little fucking like baby tantrum or whatever you want to say, like all upset or whatever. I mean, she does that all the fucking pretty often, so it's not that shocking. Um, because then after that, I was just telling my dad, I'm like, all right, so this one, she's not responsible enough to really have like credit cards or whatever, or at least access to a bunch of different credit cards. And these fucking idiots, they have like 5, 6 different fucking credit card accounts and shit with different values and stuff. So I'm just like, all right, just give me all your fucking cards that you have, the credit cards, and just show me what ones have what values, what ones have zero, which ones you actually use, blah blah blah, which ones you could actually, like how to get into the login information and shit to get onto their shit. And then I just told them like, all right, just so many of these cards, you have fucking so like a pile of them that you don't even fucking use that are just laying around. Just shred the ones that you never ever use that have zero balance. Just never use these again. They're fucking pointless to have. They're just a nuisance. Just get rid of them. So I'm shredded a bunch of cards. Um, and then I decided, I'm like, all right, well, or then then he and I were saying like, all right, she should have one card at least, because it's better that she has a credit card instead of trying to use a debit card, and it's in some stupid situation that she doesn't have enough money to pay for something. Like it's generally more secure to use a credit card as a middleman than it is to have just straight cash all the time with certain transactions. Like in that case, with the potentially with the chargeback for the credit card, like even though she got scammed, potentially we could just say, charge back the amount, instead of like if you gave cash, you're almost never gonna get your money back, or whatever, or if you put your debit card or some shit. So I told them, just give her one card that has like currently the lowest value, as well as is the easier company to deal with, because with this one it was kind of obnoxious, but the other one was a lot easier. Um, but then as I'm trying to give her, I'm saying, you could use this card or whatever, but don't use like any other card. And then she's like trying to argue with me and getting angry, saying that I'm not using any cards anymore, some bullshit like that. And then after some more fucking bullshit arguing, um, we finally just say, okay, just take this fucking card. It's better that you have at least one card and use that instead of some other bullshit or whatever. But just don't ever fucking do this stupid shit again. And she most likely will, because she'd already gotten scammed with some other thing, with some other pharmaceutical bullshit before on wherever she got it. I don't know. Some probably Facebook again, who knows. Some magical miracle bullshit. So I'm like, she did it twice already, even though she says she's never going to do it again. She will do it again, I'm sure. I'm sure of it. Uh, but So that happened, and then a few hours went by after that where I was still kind of annoyed with her, but I was like, whatever. Um, and then she's calling up her the doctor that we went to her for the orthopedist that we went to her for her knee last time, the day after she fell down the steps or whatever. Um, and then fractured her like collarbone or some shit, but that's not related to her knee. That's not why we were going to that doctor, but she was calling up that doctor basically to tell her she wanted to like schedule an appointment for to go there or something. But I told her, I'm like, why I was telling her, I'm like, why are you trying to schedule an appointment with this doctor? Well, one, the reason we're not going to her anymore to that doctor is because your insurance isn't covered by them, or your insurance is outside of is not in their network, so we're not covered for that doctor, that specific doctor. And that other doctor had already given us, I mean, I didn't say this specifically, but I did tell her this days before, but that doctor, they recommended us to go to another doctor, a orthopedic surgeon, instead of a whatever the other orthopedist was. But and I already had it scheduled for the 22nd, a appointment. She already knew about this, that we were waiting for her to go and to get scheduled. We were waiting for her to, or whatever. We were waiting to go to an appointment on the 22nd for her knee. And so I'm just like, all right, well, we already have an appointment, but if you want to make another appointment because supposedly you can't wait, then go ahead. But I'm not going to cancel the other appointment because then you'll be bitching that you have to wait even longer if I have to eventually inevitably make another appointment with them anyway. So I'm just like, I'm not canceling the other appointment. So then she's arguing about dumb shit. I just tell her, hey, fucking, if you want to make an appointment with the other doctor, fine, go ahead. So she calls them, and then they basically tell her, essentially, they don't say that, but essentially they tell her like, fuck off because they already told her go to a different office or go to this office. And the fucking thing is that then she starts telling me about what they said, and then I'm getting pissed off because I'm like, I already told you that's what we're going to that doctor for. We're going to there on the 22nd. I have you scheduled for that. I've told you the exact same thing that these people just told you. I told you this like 2 or 3 days ago when I made this appointment. I told you exactly this. But I guess she doesn't fucking. But I mean, that's the only thing I can assume from that is that she doesn't listen to me, obviously, and she doesn't believe me or whatever. She thought that I was. She thought the doctor that I made an appointment for was like some other bullshit doctor or something. I'm like, what are you fucking talking about? I made this appointment specifically because that's where they told us we should go to. They recommended us to go to. And because it's an orthopedist that is supposedly covered by our insurance instead. And I'm like, hey, if you're in this much fucking pain or whatever, supposedly, either grow a pair of balls, fucking deal with it, or I don't know. You know, there's no one that's gonna be able to help you. You just have to wait until that appointment for anything to possibly change. So you're gonna have to just fucking deal with it. But really, just the entire part that just pissed me the fuck off was that this one did not listen at all, apparently, to anything I said. And this is this is very similar to what Billy mentioned with his own mother, saying that like she doesn't listen to if you tell her something she doesn't listen. But she'll say, "Oh yeah, I get that," or "I understand," or just people in general, like they say, "Oh yeah, I understand," or "I get it," or "I understand," yeah, I gotcha, and they don't. And it's just I probably had more to like kind of say about that specifically. Um, I was gonna say more about it specifically before I started recording, I think, but now I've kind of lost it in the sauce to some extent. But yeah, like just the fact that it is literally talking with these people. It is one ear and out the other. If you tell them something, they almost 100% don't understand or don't listen. But even if they say they do, like that's not even the thing that really pisses me off. Is the if they say that they understand or that that they got it and shit. Um, that doesn't even piss me off that much compared to um, what is it? The like I get that. I already sort of like understand that fact that these people don't listen and they don't understand when they say they do. So you just kind of have to you have to always assume that when they say that it means literally nothing. Like you have to assume that they just don't ever understand anything you're saying or talking about. Um but the I don't know, just the it's almost like just it's probably well, okay, I think she's always been like this where she'll be like that where she'll say she understands but she doesn't actually, and if she says something, if you say something she doesn't actually listen or understand or whatever the fuck. Um but in this case it's probably also a good factor of like just straight up Alzheimer's or dementia, whatever, just boomer old age and her brain melting that she doesn't actually remember or she doesn't understand even though she says she does. So it's probably a good combination of that as well, of just straight up brain literally melting and not comprehending anything or remembering anything that happened just barely like a day or two ago or some bullshit, even hours ago potentially. um but yeah, that just pissed me off just a lot with that horse shit because I was just like, man, this fucking one, like, is such a fucking pathetic creature. I don't know, like this is how she's always been with like seemingly her whole family. I don't know, is like this seemingly. Like, I'm not saying, it sucks to have pain, and I'm not saying I understand exactly what pain she's feeling with the knee arthritis or whatever, but like my dad, he's had hip supposedly severe osteoarthritis in his hips for like pretty goddamn long time, and he's been dealing with it fairly well. But her with this fucking knee, and it just, I mean, she's been having some knee pain the past like few months, at least, but now it's started to get like worse, and I'm sure it is very uncomfortable. But at the same time, like with as Billy said with his brother or whatever, and he has that rap or whatever, the quick fix or what, I forget what exactly what the lines he has for it are, but like the quick fix tricks or whatever the fuck, like these fucking people with these quick fix bullshit, like they have absolutely no patience or they have no fucking ability to just like wait a little bit of time, like a relatively short amount of time, I don't know, like 3 weeks or some shit, over the like compared to the vast array of other of the vast length of other times that you've had to go through other things. Like you can't wait 3 fucking weeks. You have multiple medications or multiple over the counter medications for this to try and help your discomfort, your pain, or whatever the fuck, the inflammation. The you have the ibuprofen, and you have the cream that I got, the sodium anti-inflammatory cream shit or whatever, uh, gel. So you have like at least two solutions there. Um, and you still want to try and just get this quick fix fucking bullshit thinking that it's going to magically solve it. I mean, that's why she bought the scam, or that's why she ordered the scam pills recently in the first place, because she thought that it would be some she it was a magical arthritis cure solution or some bullshit. So all quick fix horseshit. Um, but that was, and then I was fucking annoyed by that. Mostly that at the end was the fucking just like the fact that she so clearly does not listen to anything I say. So I just have to. I mean, I already knew this, but like just realizing it more and more, and it is just infuriatingly annoying to even have to consider that. Like you have to just fucking constantly, um, you have to just constantly be like, okay, so this person does not listen to me. This person, anything I say, this person does not understand. Um, and anything I say to them is pretty much pointless because they don't understand anything. They don't listen to anything almost, essentially. Um, yeah. Um, and in those situations, like, what can you really do if it's somebody that you have to deal with on like a regular basis? Is I don't know what you're supposed to do in that situation because like if they can't listen to logic or reason and they can't understand logic or reason and they don't listen to you and they don't understand you, even though they'll say that they do, and they will vehemently like claim that they do and stuff, and then make excuses for themselves, saying blah blah blah, this and that, like this is the reason that I didn't remember or some shit. What can you really do in that situation besides like I don't know what you could really do. It's like one of those seemingly impossible, unsolvable things. Um, besides just completely, um, besides just completely like avoiding that person and getting them like out of like if you can't do that, then I don't know what you could do. Like, or if that's not feasible, then I don't know what you could really do. Uh, and it kind of made me think of something from Dragon Ball for some reason, which is stupid. Like it's kind of stupid, but it made me think about this. The almost the entire thing when Gohan before he went Super Saiyan, like against Gohan when he went against Perfect Cell, and then when Perfect Cell before he's or after he sent out the Cell Juniors to attack his friends and shit. Um, Android 16, yeah, Android 16 he has his head thrown over, and then he tries to give Gohan the whatever the kind of motivational speech to help him and shit. And what Android 16 says kind of made me think of, and the kind of end result or whatever, at least the moral of that whole entire spiel was like you can't. Gohan wanted to with try and reason and like solve the solve the conflict with Cell by speaking to him and using reason and stuff and like uh logic, whatever you want to say, using his words to resolve the thing with Cell. But when Android or whatever, like that kind of thing, but basically the pacifism kind of solution. But then Android 16 is telling him like, well, there's some times where you can't use reason, you can't use your words to solve a problem or like defeat your enemy or whatever he was basically saying. And I kind of look at it at this in a similar way. Like, you literally can't use your words. You can't use reason. You can't use these these more conventional or these more seemingly optimal or whatever you want to say solutions with these with many people or most people potentially, especially people like my mom or Billy's mom or like many women or just many people in general. because they literally don't understand. It does not work. It does not work for them. So, but in this case, you can't use. You really practically can't use. I mean, probably would be best if you could use stuff like physical violence or whatever, to physical force to in this case, to try and resolve this, or trying to make it work or whatever in this instance. Um, but like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those kind of things that's funny to that's curious to consider. Is that um you can't use reason or logic or words to solve problems with these people. Um, but in this case, outside of something like Dragon Ball, where in that case he does just use his overpowering force to defeat Cell in the end or whatever. What can you do in the real world, whatever you want to call it, in this reality, to deal with those kind of people? And yeah, I don't really know, besides once again just kind of realizing that fact, and I don't know, trying to reduce the amount of frustration that you have to go through yourself. Um, Reduce the frustration that you go through yourself in trying to do that and trying to deal with these people. Um, that's the only thing I could think of, I guess. Or just try and avoid those people entirely if possible. But at least in these cases, the most frustrating ones, it's kind of not practical to do so. Um, but yeah, after about 5:30 p.m. or whatever, I kind of relaxed, and I was less like I've been a lot more angry, and I've been a lot more frustrated, like pissed off and shit than today. But it was just one of those things that I realized, like, for a few hours there, I was like I was pretty fucking annoyed. I was pretty pissed. Um, and I was just thinking, I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to deal with this person when they do this shit constantly and they act like this, and they're just straight up going, like, they are senile at this point, to me at least. That, by my definition, she is like pretty much senile, or she is degraded quite a bit, and it's not getting any better with her, like, fucking mental state and even physical state and shit. Like, I'm thinking, how am I supposed to fucking deal with this bullshit, like, for potentially more, like, years or whatever, just getting even worse. Um, so just that kind of thought, and that fact was kind of just the just pissing me off. Just thinking about it. But then I cooled off. I thought about it more and stuff, and I was like, all right. After about like 5:30 or some shit, I like pretty much cooled down and everything. But it was fucking pissing me off through most of the day, or not most of the day, but a good few hours there after the fact. Um, and it just kind of didn't really come up with any solutions, like practical solutions, really. Uh, but it just kind of like said, all right, yeah, this is one of those things I just had to realize. This is not somebody that I can reason with. This is not somebody that I can be logical with. This is not somebody that understands me. This is not somebody who, when they tell me they understand, they don't. When they tell me they listen, or when I try to think that they should have listened, what if I said something, then they almost certainly did not. Um, and I just kind of have to. I don't know I don't know exactly know what to do about that. I just kind of had to realize this and do something about it to keep myself from losing my cool and lashing out or some bullshit like that. Um, and if Billy is listening, uh, he probably has the same exact kind of issue with his own family and his own mother and stuff. are a very similar issue in that sense. But yeah, I'm not like entirely sure what somebody is supposed to do about that. That's the thing. Like somebody that works in like um what do you call it, a retirement home or an old folks home or whatever. I forget what the exact term is. Yeah, I guess basically like a fucking retirement home or whatever. A nursing, that's it, like a nursing home or something. Like for people working in like a nursing home or some shit, for them they could kind of just like to some extent they could sort of just like um they could sort of just kind of like brush it off as like whatever, that's not my family member or whatever, that's not somebody I have to deal with. Like, well, maybe they will have to deal with them, but it's not somebody that they really give a fuck about, and they have to like have any obligation to like listen to or whatever. But when there's somebody who's not in that situation, like in a retirement home or a a nursing home or something, well, you can't really do that much besides just trying to avoid them as much as possible, because you can't like physically, by the bullshit like laws and stuff, you can't like physically force them to do something or whatever. Ironically, you just kind of have to like do what you can non-physically to try and influence them and make them, send them on the right path for both yourself and them. But you can't really when they're already kind of like out of their wits completely. So it's very difficult to sort of to deal with that practically. Um, so yeah, I don't know exactly if there's anything to really take from this besides just me kind of venting about some bullshit today. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really have that much else to talk about it. I just kind of wanted to get that off my chest to some extent. Um, it's just some dumb shit from earlier today. Um, but I guess I'll just upload this, and that's probably about all I have to say about it. But yeah, thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed somewhat, if any, and I'll see you in the next one. So take care.